If you've been guided to this message, understand this is not an accident. You are in a divine moment. Something within you is being stirred, awakened, and called forward to receive what is already yours, overflow. Your world is not happening to you. It is responding through you. The very moment you assumed the feeling of not enough, of being outside the gates of abundance, the world conformed. But now you've shifted. You are not here to beg or wait. You are here because deep inside a knowing has risen. Your season has arrived. Your overflow does not begin in your bank account, in your job, or from someone's approval. Your overflow begins in your conscious awareness, in the secret place of your imagination where you see yourself already surrounded by more than enough. See it now, feel it, step into it as if it were already true, because it is. No more delaying the harvest. You've watered the vision long enough. You've spoken faith in the dark long enough. You've dreamed of the flood while walking through drought. But the drought was never outside. It was the shadow of your inner uncertainty. And now, certainty is here. Now you move in faith, not desperation. You speak abundance, not need. You say, I am chosen, and the world bows to your self-concept. Your assumption becomes law. Overflow is not a reward, it is a reflection. The moment you relax, detach, and accept, it is done. Everything changes. Suddenly, the thing you stopped trying to chase shows up, not because you earned it, but because you aligned with it. This is the divine paradox. You receive when you no longer need. You overflow when you no longer strive, because you have finally become the one who has. Let the old you fade. The one who waited, worried, and doubted, that version of you was never real, just a mirror of forgotten truth. Now embody the new version of you, the one who walks in overflow, who expects favor, who knows their voice is creative, who trusts the unseen to shape the scene. You are not watching this video for inspiration. You are here because the signal has been sent and your soul is responding. Your season of overflow has arrived. It is now. Say thank you, feel it, claim it, and so it is. The world you see is not random. It is not chaotic. It is not acting independently of your thoughts and feelings. It is instead a direct mirror, an unerring reflection of your inner state. You are not merely in the world, you are the operant power within it. What you deeply and persistently assume to be true, whether consciously or unconsciously, forms the blueprint of your reality. The situations you encounter, the people you meet, the opportunities or obstacles you face, are all echoes of your inner belief system. They are projections of your most dominant assumptions. This means that if you hold the belief, I always struggle, the world will faithfully respond with situations that validate that belief. You will meet resistance, experience delays, and encounter lack, not because the world is against you, but because you've unknowingly directed it that way. The world is obedient to your inner script. But here's the miracle. You can change the script. When you start to believe that you are in your season of overflow, the world has no choice but to reflect that new belief. The world cannot resist your inner conviction. It must reorganize itself to mirror your changed self-concept. The moment you say within, I am now in my season of more than enough, and you persist in that assumption, feeling it, walking in it, speaking from it, the outer world bends and shapes itself around that truth. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are not waiting on circumstances to change so that you can believe. You believe, and then circumstances change. Overflow is not something you chase, it's something you become aligned with. And alignment begins in consciousness. It is not about how hard you work or who approves of you or what your past looks like. Your life will transform the moment you change your assumptions. The outer world is plastic to your inner vision. See yourself as abundant, blessed, and chosen, and the world begins to bring people, opportunities, and resources to match that vision. See yourself as overlooked, unworthy, and forgotten, and the world will continue to echo that belief too. This is not about positive thinking. It's about identity. Who are you at the core? What do you believe is true for you right now? You don't get what you want. You get what you believe you are. So ask yourself, do I believe I am someone who lives in overflow, or do I believe I have to struggle for scraps? Your life today is a perfect report card of your inner dialogue. If you want to know what you've been assuming, look around. It's already showing. But here's the power. You can begin a new assumption now. In this moment, you can choose to say, I am no longer available for lack. I am no longer aligned with waiting, doubting, or surviving. I am now in my season of overflow. It is my truth. It is my identity. Speak it. Feel it. Return to it again and again until it becomes natural, until it feels obvious, until it no longer feels like a desire, but like a fact. That's when the world must catch up. That's when reality starts to rearrange. The echo is changing. The reflection is shifting because you are shifting. And when you shift within, your entire life becomes a testimony of transformation. Your overflow becomes visible, undeniable, and effortless, not because of luck, but because of your new inner law. Everything you desire, every breakthrough, every answered prayer, every experience of overflow begins in your imagination. This is the sacred ground where all reality is born. Long before you touch abundance in the outer world, you must first feel it in the unseen, internal world of consciousness. You don't wait to see overflow before believing it exists. That's the way of the world. But your power doesn't come from reacting to what you see. It comes from generating what you know to be true within, regardless of appearances. Imagination is not just fantasy. It is the womb of reality. It is the place where you consciously choose to dwell in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, until that inner experience becomes more familiar than the feeling of lack. And when that happens, something incredible occurs. The outer world has to conform. It must mirror the new state you are living from. Why? Because life is not responding to your surface level wants. It's responding to your state of consciousness. And your state is determined by what you consistently accept and imagine to be true about yourself. If you are constantly imagining struggle, if your inner conversations revolve around not having enough, not being supported, not being seen, then lack becomes your dominant vibration and the world will reflect it back without fail. But if you make a decision to step into the end result mentally, to see yourself in overflow, walking in abundance, fully supported and deeply favored, then that internal scene becomes the seed of your new life. Everything begins with the scene in the mind. See yourself waking up in peace, knowing your needs are met before you even speak them. Picture yourself choosing from overflow, not limitation. Imagine your phone ringing with divine connections, your bank account overflowing with provision, your days filled with ease and joyful expansion. Not because you forced it, but because you imagined it and accepted it as your new normal. You do not need to figure out how it will happen. Imagination bypasses logic. The conscious mind may try to analyze, question, or resist the vision, but your imagination doesn't need permission. It only needs your acceptance. Every time you return to that image in your mind and feel it as real, you are impressing it upon your deeper self. You are saying, this is who I am now, and reality must catch up. What you feel inside consistently becomes what you see outside eventually. This is why it is not enough to casually hope for abundance. Hope is passive. Imagination is creative. You must dare to enter the scene of overflow before the facts support it. You must move beyond your senses and live in the world within. This is how all true transformation happens. Not by reacting to what is, but by imagining what could be, and then walking in that truth as if it were already so. The moment you make the inner world more vivid than the outer, you have taken hold of the keys to your kingdom. You are not denied, you are not blocked, you are simply being invited to return to your original power. The power to imagine and receive, the power to say, I see it, I feel it, it is already mine. That is not delusion, that is creation. You are not here to wait for the evidence. You are here to create the evidence. The overflow you've been praying for, hoping for, working toward, is already finished in the unseen. Your job is not to make it happen, but to dwell in the state where it already has happened. So return daily, hourly, to your imagination. See it clearly, feel it deeply. Refuse to leave the scene until it becomes familiar. Your imagination is not wishful thinking. It is the blueprint of your destiny. Overflow is not far away. It is not coming someday. It has already begun the moment you imagined it and believed. There is a sacred turning point in the manifestation process, a quiet, powerful shift where you no longer chase, strain, or beg for what you desire. That moment is called detachment. And it is not about giving up your desire, it's about giving up the need for it. Detachment is not indifference. It's not apathy. It's not walking away from what you want. Detachment is the inner knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. It is a confidence so complete, a peace so deep, that you no longer feel compelled to question, worry, or strive. You have moved from desire to fulfillment within, and the outer world must catch up. As long as you're chasing overflow, you're affirming its absence. You may say you believe in abundance, but if you constantly check your bank account, question the timing, or feel anxious when it hasn't yet shown up, then you are holding yourself in the state of not having. The vibration of needing pushes the very thing you desire further away. But the moment you detach, the very instant you stop looking for signs and instead rest in the quiet assumption that it is done, the divine flow is activated. The floodgates open, because you are no longer creating resistance through fear, doubt, or impatience. You are like a tree planted by living waters, rooted, stable, and nourished, not because of what's happening outside, but because of what you know to be true inside. Detachment is faith in action. It says, because I've already received it within, I no longer chase it outside. It says, I've assumed the identity of the one who has. It says, it's mine now. And it will unfold in perfect time, in perfect ways, and I don't need to control the how. This shift releases the energy of striving and invites the energy of allowing. You go from gripping to trusting, from doubting to resting. And in that state, things begin to move. People call it coincidence, they call it luck. But you will know it's the divine rearranging all things on your behalf. Not because you pushed, but because you surrendered. Think of detachment like planting a seed. Once the seed is in the soil, you don't dig it up every hour to check on it, you trust the process. You water it, you wait in peace, knowing the bloom is inevitable. Detachment is the same. It's your way of saying, I've planted the seed in my consciousness, I've imagined it, felt it, claimed it, now I rest. When you live from that level of spiritual ease, the impossible becomes possible. Doors open, delays dissolve, overflow begins to show up in ways you couldn't have scripted, because you stepped out of the way and let the unseen intelligence of life go to work. Detachment is magnetic. It draws everything to you because you're no longer chasing, grasping, or trying to make things happen by force. You're aligned with the energy of already having, and life responds. This is when you begin to see miracles, not because they just started happening, but because your new state finally allows you to receive them. You're not proving anything, you're not earning anything, you are simply aligning with the truth that overflow is your birthright, and in detachment, you claim it. So breathe, release, let go of the how and when, trust the divine timing, let your assumption be final, and then live from the version of you who already has it. Talk like it, think like it, walk like it, radiate it. You'll know you're in detachment when the thought of your desire brings peace, not urgency, joy, not striving. And that's when it flows. That's when it arrives. Not because you forced it, but because you finally let it in. Let go and let it overflow. Your words are not empty sounds. They are creative power, forming the very structure of your reality. Every time you speak, especially about yourself, you are planting a seed in the fertile ground of consciousness. And just like natural seeds, these spiritual seeds grow, multiply, and eventually show up in the garden of your life. You may not see the harvest immediately, but the law is sure: what you consistently say, you will eventually see. Many people unknowingly plant seeds of struggle, delay, and insufficiency with their own tongue. They say things like, "Nothing ever works out for me. I'm always behind. I don't know how I'll make it," or "Money is hard to come by." These phrases may feel casual or justified, but they are seeds, and the soil of consciousness doesn't discriminate. It will grow what you feed it. If you keep repeating lack, you will keep living in lack. Not because life is cruel, but because you spoke it into structure. You declared your state and the world obeyed. But here is the truth. You can choose a new harvest by choosing new speech. You can replant your reality starting now. When you begin to say, "I am chosen for increase, I live in overflow, everything is working out in my favor," or "divine supply never fails me," you are planting a different kind of seed. These are not wishful affirmations. They are commands to reality. They are declarations from a soul who understands that the tongue is the rudder of life. What you repeat, especially with feeling, becomes your new inner belief, and your belief always produces fruit. The words you speak over and over again about your money, your health, your future, your identity are shaping what's next. You cannot expect a life of overflow while rehearsing a narrative of struggle. The harvest always matches the seed. This is why sacred language is so powerful. When you begin to speak from the end, to declare what you desire as if it is already yours, the atmosphere around you changes, your vibration rises, your inner self begins to believe, and life begins to arrange circumstances that match your new pattern. You don't have to scream, you don't have to perform. You just have to be consistent and conscious. You must become a master of your self-talk. You must become selective about the language you allow into your atmosphere, because every word is a creative force. Speak overflow over your life, even when you don't see it yet. Say, "I am divinely provided for," even when you don't know how. Say, "Abundance is my nature," even when your bank balance says otherwise. This is not denial. This is alignment. You are aligning your words with your highest truth, not your temporary facts. Words are not just descriptive. They are prescriptive. They prescribe what your life becomes. Your world follows your word. Speak blessing, speak favor, speak grace, speak divine guidance, speak open doors, speak unexpected increase, speak overflow. And then stay in that vibration. Don't dig up the seed with doubt or cancel it out with contradiction. Guard your speech like sacred currency, because it is. Over time, you will look around and realize you are standing in a harvest you once only spoke about. It came not by accident, but by spiritual law. Your words paved the way, so today, begin again. Begin planting with purpose. Let your mouth agree with your vision. Let your speech match your dream. Let every sentence be a seed of abundance, peace, and divine expansion. Say it now. "I am chosen for increase." Say it until it feels like truth. Say it until the world has no choice but to obey. Because every word is a seed, and overflow is your harvest. Everything you desire already exists in the unseen realm. It is not a matter of creation, but of alignment. And the fastest, most powerful way to align with your desired reality is to live from the end, to mentally and emotionally dwell in the feeling that what you want is already yours. This is not about wishing or hoping. This is about embodying the outcome. It is about stepping into the identity of the one who already has what they once desired, and living as that version of you now. Living from the end means you no longer think like someone who's waiting for the blessing. You think, feel, move, speak, and make decisions as the one who already has the blessing. That shift alone is enough to draw the entire supply to you, because you're no longer reaching for it, you're radiating it. Most people live toward their goals. They constantly look ahead and say, one day I'll have this, or eventually it will come. But this mindset delays the manifestation because it keeps the goal in the future. And as long as you keep imagining it as far away, life will continue to mirror that distance. But when you move into the result mentally, when you close your eyes and see yourself already living in that overflow, already receiving the call, already living in the home, already walking in that abundance, you collapse time. You make the future your present, and reality begins to respond. This is spiritual law. What you accept as true within must express itself without. It's not about tricking yourself. It's about choosing to inhabit a new version of yourself, the version who doesn't worry, the version who wakes up in peace, knowing that provision surrounds them, the version who naturally expects favor, increase, and opportunity. You must be her, you must be him. Not someday, but now. Living from the end isn't about fantasy, it's about assumption. You assume the state of the wish fulfilled. You move through your day as if the supply has already come. Because in truth, once you've imagined it vividly and accepted it internally, it has come. It's already unfolding. The outer world is just catching up. From this place of inner conviction, your actions become inspired. You don't chase, you don't force, you simply respond from the knowing that you are already supported, already equipped, already enough. You don't need confirmation from the outside world. You are your own evidence. The inner feeling is your proof. The state you dwell in is the source of your future. This is the secret of all effortless manifestation. When you become it, it must come to you. When you live as the one who has, you no longer repel the blessing with doubt or impatience. You magnetize it by identity. So ask yourself, how would I feel if it were already done? How would I walk? How would I speak? What would I let go of? Who would I become if I knew without question that overflow was now my truth? Begin to answer those questions, not later, but now. Step into that state, visit it so often in imagination that it becomes your new home. And when it becomes natural, when you feel calm, certain, and aligned, that's when supply appears. Not because you begged, not because you earned it, but because you finally became the version of you who receives it. Faith is not a fragile emotion or a wishful thought. It is power, pure, focused, unshakable power. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the doorway through which the floodgates of overflow are opened. Faith doesn't beg. It doesn't plead. It doesn't wait for confirmation. Faith declares it is done, not it might happen or hopefully one day, but it already is. That inner certainty is what causes the unseen to become seen. Many people confuse faith with hope, but hope is rooted in uncertainty. It says, I wish this will happen. Faith, on the other hand, is grounded in knowing. It says, this has already happened in spirit, and now I stand still and see it unfold. Faith doesn't need signs to believe. It creates the sign. Faith is the master key that unlocks all doors. It doesn't operate by logic or physical evidence. It operates by alignment with the unseen reality. When you know within that something is yours without needing to see it first, everything begins to move toward that truth. That kind of faith rearranges the fabric of your reality. It shifts people, opens doors, closes wrong paths, and magnetizes what you've claimed internally. Faith does not mean you never feel doubt. It means you choose to keep believing even when doubt knocks. It means you return again and again to the conviction that what you've imagined is already yours in another dimension, and you are simply watching it unfold into form. This is the kind of faith that activates overflow. Not blind faith, but creative faith. The kind that sees with inner vision, the kind that holds the end result in the mind and refuses to let it go, the kind that smiles when there's no physical reason to, because something in the soul already knows the outcome. Faith is the spiritual posture that says, even now I give thanks, not because it's on the way, but because I already received it in consciousness. This is what opens the floodgates. It's not about your effort, it's about your expectation. When you believe something is already yours, you stop chasing it. You stop doubting, you stop speaking from lack. Your vibration shifts, and because life mirrors your dominant vibration, supply begins to flow. Not trickling, not barely, but in overflow. Faith doesn't just attract blessings, it creates the environment for blessings to land and multiply. Think of it like a field. Your imagination plants the seed, your words water it, but faith keeps the soil fertile. Without faith, the seed can't grow. With faith, the harvest is inevitable. And this is why you must protect your faith. Guard it from voices of fear, limitation, and doubt. Don't consult outer conditions when deciding what's possible. Consult your inner conviction. That's where your real power lives. There is nothing you cannot receive when your faith is locked on the end result. Overflow, healing, restoration, promotion, it all becomes available when you know that you are already one with it. You don't have to force it. You don't have to figure out how. All you need to do is say within, it is already mine. And I will not be moved. Faith is that calm silence in your spirit that says, no matter what it looks like, I trust the process. I trust the power within me. I trust the vision I saw. And in that trust, the floodgates open. Suddenly the supply arrives, the answers appear, the connections form, not because you earned it, but because you believed it. So stand boldly in your inner knowing. Don't just wish for overflow, expect it, feel it, know it, because faith is not the path to the door. You were not led to this message by chance. You were drawn here by the deeper part of yourself, the path that already knows your season of overflow has arrived. Now you understand. Your world is echoing your inner belief. When you change within, the outer must reflect it. You've seen how imagination is not a game, it's the womb of reality. You've been reminded that detachment is not giving up, but rising above fear. You've learned that your words are seeds, and your harvest is shaped by what you declare daily. And above all, you've been reminded that faith is not hoping, faith is knowing. Knowing that what you seek is already yours. Knowing that when you live from the end, the supply must appear. Knowing that overflow is not a someday event, it is a now reality. So step into the identity of the one who already has. Speak from your power, assume your blessing, rest in the unseen and trust it more than what your eyes show. From this moment forward, choose to live as if it is done, because in truth, it is. Thank you for receiving this message. Thank you for listening not just with your ears, but with your spirit. May these words echo within you until they manifest all around you. Now rise, walk boldly, and live as the embodiment of overflow. Your time is now, your season is here, and so it is. Thank you.